Sorry to keep you guys waiting, but I had to get my pizza. I'm starving. Let me shut down anything that's in the background here. Sorry to keep you guys waiting, but I had to get my pizza. I'm starving. I have my phone on the show. All right. Oh, it smells so good. Let's put that right here. Handmade, hand tossed. All right, let's see who is in our chat room. Sorry to keep you guys waiting, but I was hungry. I thought I had, usually when I order from this particular pizza place, it takes them like an hour, because they're so busy. Tonight was a slow night. So they got it here really quick. So I had to wait to start the show. So let me make sure that my sound is good. Audio testing. Everything's good. Video's good. Let's say hi to the chat. I was outside talking with you guys. That's why I was in the chat, but I'm starving. Hello, Jacob McKenzie. Hello, Hal Jordan. Hello, my favorite human in the whole world, Brea. Hello, Rational Skeptic. Superman Legacy needs to really knock it out of the park. It needs to make more than Man of Steel, or else it's risk being another Superman Return situation. That's actually true. And a lot of that, like I said before, depends on the conversation that James Gunn has had with Zaslav, and the conversation Zaslav would in turn have to have with the shareholders and the financiers, because they can shut this down quickly, no matter how great Superman, the story for Superman Legacy is and how great the movie is. We've seen good movies get undercut by dumb expectations. So, yeah. All right, William Thought and Love Tyler will be returning to Betty Ross, Captain America New World Order. It's been 15 years since we last saw her as Incredible Hulk. I don't know enough about the script for New World Order, but she's still hot and she can still act. So, I mean, 15 years. I saw a picture of her today and she looks just fine. So, it all depends on if there's a 15-year gap in between when we're supposed to have seen her as that character. So, that's me talking to myself, grabbing my pizza. I grabbed it. Pepperoni, sausage, and mushrooms. The only 3 toppings. No pineapple. All right, Rational Skeptic. Honestly, Gunn should have just kept Cavill starting a new Superman franchise from scratch is really risky, especially when Cavill's still kind of fresh in people's mind. I've been saying this for, since the beginning. One of the reasons why I only give James Gunn a 40% chance of success, by the way, which is really high. And that could change. I mean, he could come out with trailers and all kinds of things and other decisions and the Flash, depending on how they use that. But right now, March 27, March 28th, 40% is because of the fact that no matter how good it is, like I explained last night in detail, it takes people time to let go of the Superman that means the most to them in order to embrace that. You have to give people that time, and you have to factor in that time into how long it's going to take you to make a certain amount of money. They did not do that. The idiot corporate people that were running the show when Cavill was around did not account for that, and that's where they failed. I would have kept Cavill going. He's young enough to still play the role for quite a while. People did want him back. People did like him. They're using the past numbers and whatever they consider to be failures as things that that had nothing to do with Cavill. If you go back and talk to people now who now see Jack Snyder's Justice League, who now see Man of Steel and BBS, they have a much more favorable opinion of it than they did back in 2013 and 2017 and 16 respectively. That's because, like I said, it takes time. So that same process is whatever Superman James Gunn brings forth is going to have to go through that same process. And the question is are the corporate people who want a fast return on the company that they bought that was hugely in debt going to wait for the time it's going to take for people to warm up to a new Superman? So how you doing, Aaron? Me saying hello again, getting my pizza. Yes, be sure to like this stream with the Point Extra Lounge. Also head over to where she's got you linked in, and that's my page, youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. Let's see. All right. How you doing, Bobo? Stayed here. I don't think Dave's here. I don't know if he's here. I didn't see him. Was he here? Dave might be sleeping. Yeah, because this is going to be a really short one. All right. Be sure to smash the like button. How you doing, Aztec? John Wick 4 showing up all the current comic book movies now. It's that. Well, like I said, and 2 different situations. Marvel is just like I said. I think Marvel shot their load. for the most part, and it is to the point where you know they have moved on past their mainline characters and moved on to characters that are not necessarily the most noteworthy in order to tell their story. Now we'll eventually get back to some of these, but like I said, right now there's no Captain America or Steve Rogers. There's no Iron Man. The Thor movies suck. And all you have left is the next level of characters that are not the high tier. They're going, but at least when Marvel did it, they exhausted their A listers. DC never did, and that's what DC is going through right now. So I think that these other movies have just caught Marvel and DC at the right time, as far as being able to take advantage of them. How you doing, Fourth? Matt Damon says Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer is 3 hours long. It's 3 hours. It's fantastic. Yeah, and you know what? I think we are beyond the point where it used to be if a movie was 3 hours, that meant it was dragging and it was boring. But now even certain comic book movies have gone that length, and if the movie is paced right, you can have a 3 hour movie and be just fine. And there's been movies that I've sat in that were 2 hours, 45 minutes to 3 hours, and the time just went by fast. If the movie is properly written, properly directed, and paced properly, you can get away with it. I never sat in on Godfather and been like, wow, I'm tired. I just, if the movie is good and it's rolling, then it can work. How you doing? Fun. William, looking at the pizza like a Ninja Turtle. I don't blame you. I mean, I was starving today, and I had meetings and stuff all day, so I didn't take my intervals for food like I usually do, and I wasn't snacking all day. I just was drinking coffee, and I thought I'd be okay, and then all of a sudden I got to the end of the day, and it just dropped. I was like, oh man, I'm as hungry. I'm hungrier than I thought I would be. And then the stuff I had in the refrigerator just wasn't going to be enough. I need a whole pizza right now. So yeah, the whole Ninja Turtle thing is probably the correct term for me right now. Honestly, if Aquaman 2 and the Flash bomb, we might not even see Gun Slate come off, and WB might get sold. Right now, I don't think anybody's buying WB anytime soon, simply because you would be accumulating as much debt as the company's worth, and it's just not a good buy. You could literally start up your own studio from scratch. What it would cost another company at this point to do. I don't think Aquaman 2 is going to bomb. I don't know if it'll pull in $1 billion. I think it'll pull in good money, and I don't think the Flash is going to bomb. I think the Flash has everything in it that these guys did not use in the last 5 years, which is major characters, major IPs, and recognizable figures. And like I said, Shazam did have that. And like I said, you cannot base what DC has done with the goofiness with the Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, Shazam, and Black Adam. You cannot compare that to what you could do with the Flash, because the Flash has A-listers in it. Those movies combined had no A-listers. How you doing, Daniel Martin? Jacob. Most of them, not all of them, most of them. Do you expect any big news from Saturday Night Jail? No. I expect him to bring out the Rebel Moon, maybe a Rebel Moon trailer. If there's ever any news that he could give you at this point about JL 2 and 3, it would be in a comic book form, and it would be like by Jim Lee and overseen by Jim Lee. But as far as anything else goes right now, I think right now the fact that he's in a good place with WB, the new regime, and he's in a good place with Abdi and DeLuca, and he's already friends with James Gunn. I think time will do what time needs to do when it comes to any future motion picture stuff, when it comes to the continuation. But right here and now, they can do the comic book, and they wouldn't interfere with any of that stuff. James Gunn is not in, I know he has influence and he wants to merge them all together, but I don't think it would disrupt anything to finish this in a 12 issue graphic novel series. It would do great wonders for the comic book industry, to attach that cult status to a selling book like that. So if there's any announcements, that's my guess. I don't have any inside thing, but I don't think you're going to get any JL 2 or 3 announcements there. No, it's a place called Mr. Eats Pizza. It's a local place here in town. It is. I love their pizza, man. They do it right. It's always textured right. It has that. The cheese always tastes like I like it. The closest I can come to the way Mr. Eats Pizza does. I'm giving him a full blown endorsement. Is a place called Hank's Pizza in L.A. It's just a little restaurant. They only have the one, and the weight is always right on the pizza. It's It's all balanced. It's not just thrown on there like some of the big chain people do. They give you the same stuff, right? They'll give you the same ingredients, but it's not balanced. It's all tossed everywhere. So one slice is got all the meat and stuff on it, and the rest of it's like just cheese. But this you can kind of see that it's good. Their ingredients just taste better than the other places I eat at. Like no offense to Domino's and Papa John's and all these other pizzas, but something about a local pizzeria, a local place that only has one or two places here in town, and the guy making it is the guy that runs the place. It's just oh my goodness. I shouldn't have done that. Now I'm really hungry. I want to cut the stream short, but I'll have some discipline here. Let me push it through. So the last thing I want to do is knock it over. But yeah, as soon as I hit the end button on this stream, I'm tearing this damn pizza up. So, but yeah, Mr. Eats Pizza. How you doing, Tehran? Film Goblin is crazy to me how people think Snyder's movies were complete bombs. They weren't. And like I said, that is perception. That is the bullshit perception that we had back in 2013 to 2017. And now when you look at the movies that have been released since then, the movies that they've tried to give us as part of the DCU since the last successful Snyder movie have been bombs like Birds of Prey, movies like the Suicide Squad, which I liked but lost them $121 million, Black Adam, and Shazam. So those are bombs. But what Zack Snyder was pulling out, $678 million. That was twice what the previous Superman movie made. All right, and then you jumped up to 871 million. But once again, they were tasked with driving the DC car and keeping the DC car on the road and getting the DC car where they're going. But they couldn't resist looking over at the Marvel car. Now you can do that to a certain point. You can admire Marvel, and there's certain things you can use blueprint on thing. But when it came to certain things, there are certain things that are DC. And there are certain things that are Marvel, and the two companies had to be ran distinctly different. And while you were trying to look over and play rubberneck into DC's Ferrari, you crashed your Lamborghini. And that is partly why, because they were running their companies, and instead of using internal statistics and internal advantages, they had their neck out looking at another company, and they crashed the car, and that's why we're here. $1 billion mark cursed these movies. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It may even have cursed Marvel's movies. Yeah. And yeah, that's full. It's not even every Marvel movie doesn't even make $1 billion. And like I said, I think didn't Marvel. I correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm pretty sure that Avengers 2012 was their first $1 billion movie. So why would we why were we on the fast track with DC? All right. Do you think we've hit the point in the comic book movie genre where you just can't come with a good or passionate movie? The $9 million and second week gross as a $70 million drop off is getting more regular. I don't think you can do it with B-listers. I don't think it's comic book movie fatigue. I think it's B-lister fatigue. Ant-Man, who is a founding Avenger but has not been treated like an A-lister by MCU, is not a top tier character. So you fed them top tier characters. They don't want to get off that diet. And same thing with DC. Black Adam is not a top tier character. Shazam is not a top tier character. If you look at the movies that have not bombed or been a disappointment, look at the level of character they are. Are they the Iron Mans? Are they the Captain Americas? Are they the Spider-Mans? No. Most of the movies that struggle with Marvel and DC are lower tier characters that people just don't have the emotional investment in. All right, nobody was expecting the first MCU phase movies. No, they didn't, and they didn't. They averaged about 385 million. So yeah, I agree. MOS was the best way to modern Superman that represents the dark world today. If Gunn does a Superman that always smiles and saves people, is just dishonest portrayal of modern Superman. I don't think he's going to, though. Remember, this is the same guy who oversaw Brightburn. This is the same guy who, if you watch Suicide Squad again, that's a dark and brutal movie. James Gunn can bring the darkness. I think the fact that he's, is in, control of the narrative here, and he's working for himself for the most part. I think you're going to see. I think people are going to be surprised at what James Gunn can do. Just because you've seen somebody do a certain thing doesn't mean they can't do something else. Like I always say, Jonathan Demme wrote Married to the Mob, directed Married to the Mob. and then went on to direct one of the great serial killer movies of all time, in Silence of the Lambs. So people have many dimensions. Just there's the dimension that they've shown you. That doesn't mean that's all their dimensions. So I would give them a shot. Ryan, how are you doing? I love Incredible Hulk and Ang Lee's Hulk because what they did with Hulk, what they did with the Hulk should have been also for Avengers version is phenomenal. Yeah, they've pussified the Hulk. They have pussified the Hulk. They have made the Hulk pretty much irrelevant. It's going to be hard to be making a solo movie for him once they've softened him up like this. If GLC is shown at SnyderCon, would that be interpreted as WB letting Zack test the waters, similar to his pre Zack Snyder's Justice League Rail? That I don't know. I couldn't give you an answer on that. I could not give you an answer on that. I mean, they may. I think that you're going to end up seeing elements of Snyder's universe incorporated in what Gunn does, and I think the rest of it could be used up in Elseworlds. But if the Flash, let's say the Flash does good money, I think Gunn is smart enough to incorporate what works going forward. Even though he wants to put his stamp on it and do his own thing, there's ways, very creative ways to go forward with your vision and still make the money that's lying on the table with with this other stuff. So I would say it's hard to tell. It's hard to answer any of these questions there are without Flash being in theaters right now. After Flash, then we can all probably give you a better answer than that. William, thought of a new spin-off movie in John Wick universe that will be announced next month or so. I know they're doing the Ballerina. I don't know what the other one is. As long as they make it different. I mean, keep the elements that people love about the John Wick franchise, but don't make it like you're just exhausting it and spreading it thin. If they can continue to tell good stories like they have been able to, then I think they'll do fine. So, but I know about the Ballerina, and the Continental, the prequel. I'm not big on prequels, but I think it'll do well. William Sung, yeah, I'm starving, dude. I mean, I'm literally going. There's going to be bite marks, my little gargantuan bite marks in this damn pizza, man. And it's and then the cool thing about their pizza too, Mr. Eats Pizza, is it doesn't. You know how some pizza starts to taste different as it gets, as the temperature goes down. Not this pizza. This pizza, it stays hot and it stays good. And like I said, I'll be eating it pretty soon. Yeah, this is generally the time where I eat the majority of my food. Sometimes what I do is I take I'll take like a dinner break or like a lunch break around 6:30ish, or just to get me going, get me through the day. But my main meal, the one I eat, before when I get home, before I go to bed, is what I eat the most. So yeah, there you go. And like I said, sometimes when we're doing an event like the other night, when I did the event, if we would have had a Saturday night stream, I would have had my loaded fries and shown you. But I've already shown you those, so those are great. William, thought on Thomas Hayden Church, say a storyline of Sandman and his daughter got cut from No Way Home. Didn't see that, but that happens all the time in Hollywood. I don't know if there was a lot in No Way Home though. So I in their defense, the movie was packed. I don't know how many side stories and derivative stories they could have put without making the movie drag. So I mean, but without knowing the backstory on that. I don't want to. Guys, going forward, and I should have been I'm gonna be doing this all the time now. I'm gonna try to answer the questions that are submitted, but at the same time, if I don't have an answer, I'm gonna be honest with you and just say, hey, we may have to wait and revisit that one again, because I don't want to talk on things I haven't heard. And even though I get the news, sometimes in the involvement of everything I'm doing during the day, there's some news I just miss completely. So I'm not brushing you off. I just don't want to give you an answer that's based on a kind of a lie. So like and subscribe so William can buy you a pizza. No, I actually had because I eat enough of these guys' pizza. This is my free one. So you smell the mushrooms. See, a lot of these pizza joints, they layer the cheese. I don't know what kind of cheese that they're using, but it doesn't taste and smell like this. And when they've cooked it right, because you can smell the mushrooms through the cheese, and it's just a different. I wish I could describe it to you, but let's not. The $1 billion box office expectation and Rotten Tomatoes ruined cinema. Yeah, and if you look, a lot of these things are, a lot of people are starting to pay attention to the audience score more than paying attention to the critics review scores. And to be honest with you, even when it comes down to the audience score, go see the movie for yourself, man. I mean, I really, I'm not trying to say, there don't need to be critics and things like that, but at the same time, I think we just need to be smarter as a society as far as how we take in that information and what that critic's opinion means to us. I can listen to a critic's opinion and still not have it affect whether I go see a movie or not. All right, so local hole in the wall pizza always better than big chain. Yeah, yeah, and your big chains are always cool in a pinch because they can produce it in mass and they have their formula and they don't run out of stuff, all that. But on a late night where, and Mr. Eats is 24/7. So you guys, if you see my streams when I stream, when I'm up and around, my hours are weird. So that's when you'll see me order a pizza, like this, and 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and no problem, and I'll get it. Sometimes I'm at the store, really, really, really super late. And before the store had places like the Square Bar and Sister Kim's, where places I could just walk down and order, there was no restaurants for a while. For like the first 3 years of me being at, New Orleans Square, we didn't have a food joint. We didn't have a burger joint. And I would joke about that. Now we have several places where I can get food. But before that, it was Mr. Eats Pizza. And like they said, they would, they're centrally located, but they deliver everywhere, man. So it's a great thing. Yeah, I know that feeling. Holy cow. I think they're working on that. I haven't heard any details on it. I know that he may even talk about that in a couple of weeks at the Snyder event. Um, See, what the thing about it is, I could see Netflix doing it and not doing it. I could understand both sides, because what Netflix does is they sell you their streaming service, and they sell you that convenience of streaming service. And I've heard a lot of pundits say, well, when you release a movie out in the theaters, it increases the value for it to go on your streaming service. Okay, if you're a studio like Warner Brothers or Disney, yeah, because you produce those, that's your studio. You're a distributor, and you have theaters and deals. Netflix is completely streaming. They are their own studio, but their main thing that they sell is the streaming platform. Whereas with Warner Brothers and Disney and all those, yes, they have big platforms, but the main thing that they're selling right now is that in theater experience. So I would agree that Netflix should have things like Rebel Moon in the theaters and everything, whenever when they can. But I also would see the detriment to doing it a lot, because then why am I paying for your streaming service if you're going to put it, it's not exclusive anymore. So I could see going both ways. But Rebel Moon looks amazing, and I would love to see it on the big screen. Comic book films are starting to get stale. Sure, they will make a billion here and there, but even casuals are getting uninterested. Well, once again, Aztec, I'm speculating that it's because they're, look at the movies that have suffered: Eternals, Black Panther without the Black Panther, um, Black Adam, Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, a bad Thor movie. All right, Ant-Man. These are not top tier event level movies. Right, even though Thor is a big name character, he does not draw as much he does as a collectively with the Avengers. The movies aren't that good, but even still, if you did another Avengers movie, you're talking. If you did another Captain America movie or Iron Man movie, you're talking a whole different situation, because that is who Marvel has established as their top tier characters. People want to see the top tier characters. They want that event. That's why I think The Flash is going to do well, because it is a event a level movie. So whereas these other things that they've been stuffing down our throats for the last 5 years have just been mid-level stuff. How you doing? I got to visit this William verse. All right, let's see what we got. Maybe modern day Lucasfilm and WB, but you got to realize Lucasfilm is a giant. On their worst days, all the Star Wars movies made well over $1 billion. So, all right, William, does MCU, Blade, Punisher, and Daredevil need to be rated R? I think so. Otherwise, or it'll suck. I think the Punisher does, because of the nature of the character. When a lot of times when he's killing, it's up close, it's violence, he's using firearms, he's using knives, he's killing people up close. You could do that as PG, but I think I don't. You could do all these as PG, but I think it would affect the quality and the faithfulness of the character. Daredevil does not need to be. I think Daredevil won't be as good a show that it was on Netflix if it is PG-13 up, but I still think they can make a good Daredevil show. With abstracts and all that. As far as Blade goes, it's a vampire movie, and once you start showing blood, that's where you get your R rating. Venom cut out a scene where he, ate a guy's head. They took the camera away. They panned it away. If they had shown that decapitation, that makes it an R. So I think they can do these movies with a less than R rating. I just don't think the quality will be as what people are expecting, especially if they've seen these characters on other platforms. All right. How did not one person get killed in the making of John Wick 4? Really, 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 really experienced professionals. I hope to see a lightsaber in Rebel Moon. I think they got something different. I heard that mimics a lightsaber because, like I said, you're right. They originally meant this for to be a Star Wars story, and now he's repurposing it. So, William, why do you think Snyder keeps getting denied continuing resolving his universe in comic book form? It definitely can't be because of competing with the other movies. I think different people were in power when he tried to. Remember, Jeff Johns still had a heavy influence in the comic book realm. Now Jim Lee more and more has ascended to that throne. I think with Jim Lee and James Gunn it has an influence, and Jim Lee as a publisher, I think you have a better chance. Realize one thing: the DC as a whole, both cinematically and paper-wise, hasn't been run very well for the last 5, 6, 7 years. So that's one of the main reasons why you have bad management. It's the same question that you have when it comes to Warner Brothers pre-gun. Why certain things didn't happen? Just bad management. I still have faith for Snyderverse Earl Swords in the future. So do I. I keep saying that the fandom and the drama won't really matter in the end. All that will be remembered is what comes out is around forever. Yeah, I think that I think that James Gunn understands the fan base to the point where he won't let the crazies detract things if it's good for business. Since Sega and Nintendo are doing film adaptations already, I would love to see the Chad Stahelski, director of John Wick, do a live action Shinobi next for Sega. Streets of Rage has been greenlit. Not a big video game guy, but I am aware of Shinobi. That's one of the ones I played when I had my Genesis. With producers of John Wick's films attached, yeah. I won't lie; those ticket prices for SnyderCon were outrageous. They were, but it's going to charity. It's going to the majority of the money. I think half of it's probably going to go to like the facility, but the other half is going to charity. It's a good cause. Like I said, I was perfectly willing to get one, but they sold out in 7 minutes. I was only going to be able to go on Sunday anyway. So, yeah, man, it's with the wrestling event. I have the Tromania coming up. We're going to plan another wrestling event here pretty soon. I got Rocky Horror happening. I have the store to get done. The Star Wars section to get done, the Star Trek section to get done. So it's a lot going on. So, and then we're doing these streams, so very busy. Why don't we want the Snyderverse to continue on another streaming platform? Well, if you're James Gunn, you probably want to keep that money in house. Because if you're going to do an Elseworlds, you probably be keeping the Elseworlds in house, but not part of your main line universe. And then if you're doing that, there's no need for it to go to a platform. The only time you would need to go to another platform is if you think you can make money off of it, but you don't necessarily feel like it's a worthy investment on that point. I think that James Gunn, especially post Splash, could look at things entirely differently and be like, you know what, there are aspects of this I think we can still make money off of, and then there are certain aspects we can do on Elseworld. But in order to do that, I think he would need to have it under his umbrella. I just think that he will probably. I think that this new regime, regardless of what they're doing as far as resetting, values what came before just a little bit more than the previous regime does. So they may want to just keep it in house, just to less complications. And like I said, if they figure that there's worth in it, then you wouldn't want to hand it off to anybody. Do you expect Disney MCU to make a movie or adjust anything with Jonathan Majors? Not yet. Not yet. I know there was charges today, but I don't know how people get charged all the time. Charges get dropped and things like that, you know. So, and like I said, his lawyer says they had video evidence that will refute everything. So I think that Marvel is going to wait. Is going to wait and see how this unfolds. I don't know how long they'll wait because they have movies coming up. They have to promote movies, and it's going to be hard, you know, because like I said, domestic violence with a star, you know, granted Ezra's a star, but he's not the level that Jonathan Majors, and Jonathan Majors is headed into being Kang. He's been Kang. He's been on Loki. He's been on Lovecraft Country. He's been on he's an up and coming star that's got a lot of notoriety right now, and and plus he's attached to, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I don't know how long they're going to wait, but I know if it's not resolved going into, you know, promotion for some of these things coming up, which they still have time for, then, you know, who knows if they would cast him. William, when I went to go see John Wick 4, one person walked out of the theater because he couldn't handle the amount of killing. A few people were sitting next to me also upset about the killing. Sounds like, you know, it's not for everybody. You know me, all 3Ds, bring it on. But some people, there's a lot of killing in John Wick 4. There's a lot of killing in John. It's literally what the movie is about. So why would you show up to a John Wick movie and not really be prepared to go to the next level? All right, John Wick is great, but still doesn't hold a candle to Raid 1 and 2. Hmm. William, can Star Trek Strange New Worlds change Pike's fate, or will the Time Police from Voyager not allow that to happen? I don't think they would. I think whoever's writing the story would. Well, I don't think they would be. I don't think they necessarily need to use the time police, because remember, even if they use any, even like Jeffries, even if you use Jeffries from Enterprise, even if they use anybody who goes throughout time, how do we know that if he changes his destiny, that's not what was always supposed to happen? You know, him knowing about it already changes a lot. So yeah, I think whatever time traveling element that, you know, is supposed to control things would probably know that whatever he does is supposed to be happening anyway. So, all right, William, what's your opinion on the Shadow movie with Alec Baldwin? I actually think I really like it. I think we're due for a new Shadow remake. I don't think you're going to get a Shadow remake because there's a lot of obscure characters that are not making money for these comic book companies, and the Shadow's an obscure character. In regards to the Adam Baldwin one, yeah, I liked it. It was good for its time. Favorite John? No, three. Three. Let's see. Do you think we will ever get a reboot of how? Dude, are you just messing with me? You may though. I don't know if we'll get a reboot of Howard the Duck. I think you'll see him more, especially if they do the Howard the Duck, because that version that they use in Guardians of the Galaxy, and subsequent things afterwards is not the same thing that you saw in 1986. So Howard the Duck has really strong ties to Werewolf by Night and Man Thing. I said Swamp Thing before, no, but Man Thing. So he operates in that nexus of all reality. So I could see them doing more. And if they did another one, you know what? That would be great. It will redeem the character from the worst comic book movie ever made. So yeah, John Wick 3 is John Wick 3 is my favorite. Or why do you think Marvel is too scared to do a movie or TV show? Because they don't know if the character has staying power out on his own. So. With Zach praising DeLuca and Abdi's assistance in setting up the event, do you think they might drop in for it? Gunn says he's going to be busy with Guardians press. They may. They're there. They're in. You know, they're about a half hour away. Who knows? I actually didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it was a Phantom. You got to realize the nature of the Phantom and what the Phantom is. It wasn't great, but remember when that movie was made? We weren't getting the kind of comic book movies we're getting now. So. All right, Larry, only the shadow knows. I remember a quiet moment in that movie. Someone said the line in the theater, and everybody started laughing. Yeah, it was kind of hokey. All right, guys, that is going to be it for tonight. I got to get to this pizza because I am starving, and it's the smell and the aroma is starting to get to me. This has been a Midnight Express, which is usually the 45-minute version of our show, and right now we are at 44:02. So I'm going to wrap it up. I will probably be here tomorrow. Maybe not. I may stick to Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I may take Tuesday night off just to just to get some other stuff done during these periods of night. But remember, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those are our big shows. It's 2 overnighters on the Saturday and Sunday show. We have our Star Trek show, and then I will probably have another show. And then I'm working on getting the charity done, getting some help, getting a charity. I want to do those charity streams for FSP and mental health awareness and free mental health care. So stick around for that. And I will see. No, I don't want to eat the pizza on the stream. That no, I hate watching people eat and I hate hearing people eat. So no, don't want to do that. All right, guys. Thank you for once again for being the best part of this YouTube experience, and I will see you later.